Where two or more are gathered, that's where I'll be. That's scripture, Matthew 18:20. Lord knows I don't quote a lot of scripture enough, but after so much of the events of this last week, obviously with Charlie Kirk's passing, um, boy, we really lit a fire both ways. You know, the powers that be know how to get us riled up for sure, and it's always emotional. It's always emotional. You know, the day after 9/11, I remember feeling more patriotic than I ever had, and it's funny how quickly so much of that patriotism turned into frustration and hate and anger, and it's just been the same for the last 24 years for the most part, and it's led us to this. It's led us to a situation where my mom, here she is in her kind of retired age, posting on Facebook, and she posts a drawing of my son riding, or a riding drew a picture of Charlie Kirk, and she posted it online, and she went viral. And boy, she woke up the next morning, yeah, this morning, not really understanding why there were so many comments. But the saddest part is, God, man, the hate comments that were on there. Now, don't get me wrong, there were more positive comments than you can imagine, talking about how great the picture was, and just complimenting, his the picture. But yet there were people on there that were really saying some terrible things. Most of it was indoctrinating youth and blah blah blah. But going back to where two or more are gathered really kind of solidifies for me that although we can't always gather in the same room, the one thing that social media does allow us to do is collectively come together. We can collectively pray together. But let's work on that, and let's keep our voices more on the positive side of things. There's no need to spew anger, particularly when somebody says, he said this, he said that, he said this. Well, what about this? What about that? What about isms? And then we all just argue. We just simply argue for the sake of arguing, mostly because we're frustrated about some of the own personal things in our own lives. Let's get our own houses right before we start tearing down others. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to attempt to do anyway. Today, I'm going to get my house right, not only with the world and my worldview, but particularly the people around me and the others that I can help. I haven't been altruistic enough, and I'm ready to be. And that's why Matthew 18:20 is so important for me. Where two or more are gathered, there I will be. It's pretty powerful when you think about it. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.